friends.
Hey, friends.
Hello, hello.
Welcome back.
Mm-hmm.
It's good to be here.
It is good to be here.
Mm-hmm.
We got Josh today.
Hey, hey.
We got Josh.
You on vacation?
I was.
How'd it go?
Oh, man. You know, vacation has changed a lot for me in the last few years. And this one was...
You mean with 4 children, 2 of which are twin toddlers? It's not easy breezy, super fun time all the time?
Yeah, you know, I was really dreading the flight. And it lived up to all the expectations. It really did. In a way that I couldn't have even imagined. Something I just have to real quickly tell you because it's one of the funnier / most embarrassing things. So Brian, my son was not comfortable. He screamed pretty much, I'd say, the almost entire flight, and just flipped up and down his tray in front of him like the whole time. And so the people in front of him were like probably a little bit older than me, and they were very patient.
Wow.
They didn't say anything or look back the whole time. Oof. And I was like, oh man, if I was them, like but you could tell I was sitting across from them in the aisle, and I could see they were bothered. And at the very end of the flight, I pulled out a milk that we had put in our backpack beforehand to try to calm him down. And I forgot about the cabin pressurization. And so I like in a rush, you know, I have Gyra on my stomach, like it's sitting on my lap. So I have to I'm fighting for, he's losing it in his mother's arms across the aisle. And I opened the bottle, and I swear to God, it shot out like a super soaker. Like it was like, and it went directly to the row in front of them. Ears, hair, neck, like straight at this horrible place.
Oh my God.
And I was like it was only shooting for like probably a second. And I swear to God,
for that second time just stopped.
I have to say I've never been more embarrassed, or like I felt like if I was him, I would lose it. Like after the whole flight, and he never looked back. Never looked back. I said sorry 50 times, like on the way out, like, hey man, I'm so sorry, you know. Never looked at me.
Whoa.
Didn't say a word. I was like, oh God.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
And so I was like, all right, it doesn't get worse than that. I don't think you could do worse than that.
So I have a parenting pro tip for you.
Okay, give it to me.
All right. Little tiny alcohols.
Oh,
Tiny alcohols.
Wait, of like little what?
Baby bottles of booze. Sometimes you can get them in airports.
Right.
You can buy alcohol in the airport.
For
the people.
Oh,
people in
yeah.
front of you.
Okay. Gotcha.
It's genius.
Or essentially you're basically like, hey,
can I
stewardess.
Yes.
whatever they want.
Oh,
whatever
right.
they want. In
You're
this
right.
entire row. Like,
that would be great because it was the end of the flight. So it's like,
mm-hmm.
and man, that's a great idea.
Yeah. And you can do, so we would.
That's so smart.
We would take the kids to Disney every year.
That was this.
Every year.
Flight to Orlando.
And, you know, I mean, you're boarding a flight to Orlando. You got to expect you're going to be on a flight with children.
Right.
Like,
that's the only silver lining.
Yes.
Was that there's an expectation of terror.
You
know, when
there
you go on
100%
that flight,
is.
you know, 100%.
There 100% is. So anything from like, I mean, everybody has earbuds now, and back in the day they didn't. But so it was like earplugs, just like candy, little like treats for grown-ups.
That's
basically
a great idea.
That's a good
in little
idea.
bags. So like if you're in, you know, whatever the normal cabin, there's going to be 3 seats in front of you, likely, if you're traveling, at least.
Right.
Definitely.
So you count on, and then you just pull out little
for you,
bags, and you hand them to people. It has a $5 like Dunkin' card
That's
in
a great
it.
idea.
It's like you're going to be talking about this flight for the next 4 days, and at least you can reach into your bag and pull out a Dunkin' Donuts gift card or
that's a genius.
I mean, prior to 9/11, like I literally could fill a diaper bag with little tiny bottles of like gin.
Oh my God.
And then I'm just like, do you want
amazing.
some gin?
That's
Would
a
you
good
like some
idea.
gin? Would you like some gin? Now you have to like buy that stuff in the airport. It's
Yep.
annoying.
Yep.
But
It's true.
you have to be able to like.
That's a great idea because
Ply
I felt
people.
helpless.
Uh-huh.
I was like, there's literally nothing I can say or do
Right.
to make up for the ear full of milk that you have, or your wife's hair covered in milk.
Yeah, you can with little gift bags.
That's the next
It's
trip.
kind of like what they used to do. I don't know. I guess some people still do this when you show up for someone's wedding and you arrive at a hotel and you get a little like guest.
Oh, like
yes.
a gift bag.
You get a little gift
That is
bag
great-
for
yes,
guests.
Little.
And like a little bit on the smaller side of that, but just like, you know, something. Maybe it's maybe it's some essential oils.
Right.
Maybe
that
it's a
would be
little
good.
crystal.
Yeah.
You know, you could just be those parents, right? You're just
We
I'm
already
sorry.
are, yeah.
Here is a rock that
Here's a pretty rock. I
Here's a
really
rock.
like. this
cannot
rock.
make up for what just happened, and it's citrine. It's lovely. You know, I mean, Francine makes gorgeous jewelry.
She could. We
Pop
should bring
some
in-
earrings.
yes, little
in
gift
some little
bags.
bags.
I
and
might
be like,
start bringing little bottles of booze with me all around just to grease the wheels wherever I
Just
go.
in general.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just
general.
be like,
Like-
oh, I'm sorry I did that.
Listen.
Here's a little gin.
I
Here's a little
mean-
tonic water. There you go. It's pocket gin and tonic. Little fever tree, little gin, shot of gin. There you go. That's what's
and
on me.
unfortunately, flying to Orlando is what, like 2.5 hours?
Yeah.
Yeah. We had a baby crying, a toddler. I mean, really, she was probably like 4, crying, not hours, obviously, on the flight down to Panama for the retreat. 7 hours of screaming.
Oh.
7 hours. I mean, I was very far away from it, and I'm deaf, and I have earbuds in, so I didn't hear anything. I'm still sleeping.
So you should have gotten an upgrade.
I'm
Or
still
like-
sleeping. I'm
Yeah.
like, no, I don't know what's going on, but
Oh my God.
yeah,
Wow.
everybody else heard it.
That's after the flight. There was a conversation of like, so we're gonna wait probably for the next time we do like a flight somewhere because let's drive somewhere.
Well, I
You
mean,
know?
that's the thing, right? And very quickly going to like North Carolina, South Carolina to the beach became
That's
the
definitely what we're
destination.
looking
Like,
for. Yeah.
forget it. We'll just go to the Outer
Right.
Banks. We'll go to Myrtle Beach. Like, it's drivable.
Mhm.
It's
Yeah.
still
How
a
long?
thing. 12.
Okay, that's Chicago too.
You know,
Yeah.
it's not
It's-
as much as driving all the way to Florida.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. I don't know if we'll do Florida again for a while either.
Yeah.
It was and it was really a perfect storm. Spring break. It's like every single family in the
yeah.
world
Oh,
was
yeah.
there, and
That's right.
you know, but it was great. Actual being there, the weather was awesome, and sun is worth it. And then
Yeah,
we came
that's
back,
true.
and then the sun is here,
Mhm.
except for today.
It's good
but
timing.
still, it's good to
really
be
good
back.
timing.
Yeah, spring is
Oh
beautiful.
man, that. Well, you're laughing about it.
Yeah, I mean, it's the funniest. I told my brother Jason, he was like crying, and it's because it's like that thing opening. I was smiling because I was like,
There's
that's
nothing-
just like a trick God played on me. Like that's like with 4
How's
kids.
your grace today, Josh?
Yeah, it's like the four, all the details you could remember. The one thing I didn't think about was like physics. I wasn't like thinking like
I don't know why.
Yeah,
I'm
I
constantly
wonder.
thinking about physics.
I wonder why.
I never would have thought of that.
I know.
So like,
it like surprised me. I was like, oh right, liquid pressure. It happens. And I'll never. But then I was like, I'll never do that again. Francine did it on the way home. But my hands were right there, so we were good.
Did we calibrate for pressure? No.
No, we didn't. No, watch
Emergency
out.
covered.
Oh my God.
So we're learning all the lessons, though.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
another one. That's another.
true.
I'll never forget that
There's
one.
no failure. There's just learning.
Yeah, that's right.
Yep. Yep. And those people might also like book first class next time they fly.
100, and they'll have an anecdote for sure.
They
They can
will.
tell people like we had the worst flight ever.
That will be hilarious.
Yeah.
In X amount of time.
I mean,
Don't know
we
how much time.
we talk about the flight to Panama. I mean, it's been a couple months.
yeah.
Mostly because this 4-year-old was screaming at the top of her lungs, and her mother was just reading. She's just reading a book. She's reading a book. And the father kept putting his hand on Jessica's leg.
Oh.
This is this flight.
Oh my gosh.
And Jessica would pick it up and move it off. And
What?
like, she just like that happened twice. I'm like, was he on something? Like he had taken
Like an Ambien. or
some
like
kind of
something
like
that.
relax, like he's like all jacked up because he has to fly with his kids. So he's just taking some kind of muscle relaxer and doesn't know that he's not sitting next to
Right.
his wife, who's reading across the aisle while the children scream.
Oh my gosh.
It was amazing.
That's like a SNL skit.
Uh-huh.
That's crazy.
I'm sorry. Speaking of SNL, have you seen clips from the show last week?
Oh yeah.
Did you see the Beavis and Butthead one?
Yes, definitely.
That was
One of the funnier ones.
one
in
of
a
the
while.
funnier ones I think
Yes.
I've seen. For me, the part when the guy playing Beavis
Yeah.
and the woman turns around and he's just like his lip is all
Stick
up.
the gums.
He's like, "Oh, me? I'm sorry." And she just breaks
She
and loses
can't
it. She
even
can't.
hold
It's awesome.
She
character.
can't even after they move out from behind her, she
Mm-hmm.
like tries to talk to Kenan Thompson
can't do
again,
it.
and she just can't.
Yeah, I've watched that actually like 3 or 4 times this week. 'Cause that is just, I love when they crack. And
Yeah.
Ryan, I think he laughed in every single sketch, like the whole entire time. So I love that.
Well, the thing is about laughter in those scenarios too. I feel like once you start,
Yeah.
like
It's over.
So
It's over.
like it's like breaking the seal or something.
I mean,
like,
just 'cause
going pee.
Everything inside you is saying, "Don't laugh, don't
Yeah.
laugh, don't laugh."
Oh.
So your body is just like it's
Yeah.
just pressurizing,
Mhm.
like milk in an airplane
Yeah.
until
I had a big problem with that when I was a kid. Laughing like
Inappropriately?
inappropriate laughter. I used to be an altar server. So me and my brothers would do it together. And me and my brother, and it was me and him looking across the
Across, like,
candles
the
at
al-
each other, like, don't laugh, don't laugh, don't laugh. And he's just, and it was, we got in trouble. So I got so yelled at by deacons. They're like, "This is not funny." I'm like, my dad shouldn't make me do this.
agree to
You're
disagree.
like, I think it's a little funny.
It's the funniest thing ever, actually. It's just my brother making a face. But yeah, I love that.
That's awesome.
My sister and I used to like fake get drunk when we were small children.
Uh-huh.
And there was a very specific ritual involved in this. So it took the watering can, like a plant watering can that my grandmother had for inside the house, all the house plants. And you had to, so we'd fill that up with water, and then we had Dixie cups from the bathroom, disposable Dixie cups.
You do shots.
And we would have to pour it out of the watering can, and then we'd do shots out of our Dixie cups. And we'd start at the top of the stairs, which my grandparents had this giant house. And so the stairs went down a landing, and then down another landing. And we'd start at the top, and we would do shots of water, and we would start giggling. And then we would do more shots of water, and we were so drunk on water that we would just crack up. And then we would laugh so hard that we'd fall down the stairs.
And drunk people do.
And cups would be flying everywhere, and and it would just start this ridiculous domino effect of uproarious laughter for no reason
Oh, I love that.
whatsoever. And one of us would be like, the second that the other one would seem out of control, we would go, or like seem like we were getting it into control.
Coming back, yeah.
The other one would go, settle down, settle down. And the second anyone said settle down, we would crack up laughing again, like tears streaming
love
down,
that.
like your belly hurts, you're laughing. I still think about that sometimes. I'm like, wow, you know, the things you did when you didn't have like video games.
my
and you
gosh,
didn't have,
yeah.
like
Yes, the
Dixie
funny
cups and a
things.
watering can.
Oh my gosh.
amazing.
We are drunk.
That is
so
fun.
drunk.
Did you smoke a pack of candy cigarettes
Oh,
while you were
yeah.
doing
Oh,
it too?
absolutely.
All the time.
Yeah, we had a lot of the candy. Both the bubble gum. Did you guys ever have the bubble gum?
Bubblegum
kind?
cigars.
Oh yeah, bubblegum cigars.
Yep.
No, these
Yeah.
were cigarettes. So there
Oh,
was
the
like
cigarettes.
there was like a paper on the outside, and you could blow through them, and
Oh, yes.
powdered sugar would come out,
Yes.
and it would go.
That's hilarious.
It was amazing.
I want to get those for Luna's birthday next
Oh
year.
my god,
I love
She's
it.
turning 3. I think I'm just
Immediately-
gonna pass out
you will not.
packs of cigarettes.
Big tobacco, man. This is genius.
Absolutely not. Good God.
I love it. Doing
Oh,
it.
man.
So what are we here to talk about?
Enneagram.
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 This is like an endless. I love these conversations. I love. The more I learn about it,
Mhm.
the more fascinated I am.
Yeah.
Why do you? Where do you rank this as far as personality typing? Like personally, do you like this more than maybe human design or astrology? You know.
I think when Enneagram is done well, it is the most accurate. I think that the Achilles heel with Enneagram is that you're relying on human beings to take personality tests about themselves.
Mm.
And there's always going to be like a little bit of, is this who you are, or is this who you want yourself to be,
Yeah,
right?
There's a little bit of that.
So I think like sometimes people will be like, oh yeah, I took the test and I'm a fill in the blank, la la la. And I'm like, no, you're not.
Yeah.
I'm like, you're not that. I mean, I'm not going to say that out
Respectfully.
loud.
Yeah, right.
You're not that. And Jaya, which people listening, many of you know Jaya, she teaches all the Enneagram stuff here at Yoga Farm. And she is constantly like, Jeannie, stop typing people. Like, you're not supposed to do that.
It's really hard.
I can't help myself.
Oh, it's so hard.
So,
I only try to do it just as a means to familiarize myself with it, just so I can learn about what the types are, because I have a really good handle on a couple of them. There's a few that I'm not quite sure what they are yet.
right.
But I don't try to hold people to that. I'm not like diagnosing.
Yeah.
It's not. But for me, it's my own. I love it. I like it better because it's less about like when you were born, like the randomness of like an astrology, and it's more about how you behave or the motivations around your behavior. It's like more of like actions, like what you can like see what a 1 is like if like someone's like I'm a 1, or if like that person is a 1, and here's why. You could watch them, what they say and what they do, and for that reason I like it a lot.
Yeah, the categorization of it is like, I think it's really interesting to hear patterns that you fall victim to, and you're like, oh, that's right. I have been doing that my whole life.
That is my unconscious self doing its thing.
I don't know who was it, or if it's in the book, when they said, if you read about the type, once you read about all the types, the one that makes you most uncomfortable thinking about that might be you, there's a good chance that that's the one.
Yeah.
You shouldn't be like, oh, this is awesome. Boom, boom, boom. All these cool
I'm
things.
the fill in the blank.
Right.
That's
It's
me.
more like, ooh, yeah, that's something. Oh, yeah, that too.
Yeah, you should feel a little cringy about
You
it.
should feel, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I also like it because using it, we do this a lot when we watch movies and TV. It's really fun to say, I think this character is this number, this character is that number. And of course, it's movies and TV, so it's exaggerated. But that helps me kind of understand it too. And it's fun to watch the numbers play off each other in the realm of TV and movies where it's like exaggerated form of life.
I mean, if I was going to write fiction, I would absolutely make characters based on, like core traits of the Enneagram as like a place to start anyway, of like, because it just gives you this whole full body of
Context
of a human being and their inner workings that you don't have to just like pull out of thin air.
Right. And I'm sure, I fully intend to name fictional characters as we talk about the numbers. That's the only way I can really contribute. So yeah, exactly.
Well, and I think like it's a big enough system too that it gives people something to chew on for a while. So you usually start with like, who am I? Right? You learn your type. And
which
then
there are 9.
Which there are 9. Your core type. And then you might learn like your wings. So like the types on either side of you, and like figure out how you can lean into either of those sides. And then you'll probably learn like your stress and your growth. So where you go in stress, which type, where you go in growth. And by the time you've done that, like you're more than halfway. And then there tends to be the ones that like you don't know very well unless there's someone in your life that is that.
Yep.
And so that it just gives you kind of these layers to work through and not try to like look at the whole Enneagram system and memorize it immediately because it's insane.
Yeah.
I mean, I have notes in front of me because I will forget so much stuff.
Yeah. It's hard. I mean, I think that I forget. It's interesting to type people because then I hear someone say what their number is and I'm like, what? Really?
Right. Interesting.
Is that true?
Yeah.
Like, oh, wow. And what it does for me sometimes is it gives you an insight into how people see themselves.
Yeah.
Like where it's like when I hear somebody say that they're a particular number, I'm like, oh, okay.
Is that how you think?
That's your perception of it. And that's cool. I think that's an interesting insight into something very complex.
Yes.
Like your type.
I also I've had this realization a few months ago where not only do I like it or think it's important to know your type, right? To like get an understanding of what patterns you present to the world. But I also really love it, and I think this is a secondary way people use it or don't use it, is to like understand how someone else is behaving. Like instead of saying I'm a 1, therefore do this. It would be more important to say, honey, I know you're a 9, so you're going to do this. Josh, you're a 4, you're going to do this. Like to meet someone with understanding rather than just solely think about how it affects you.
Right. It's like that's one layer of it that's really important. Otherwise, it's not an awareness. Like it doesn't give you another awareness tool. It gives you a like get out of asshole free card.
Right.
Like,
like
I'm just being a 9. No, you have to take accountability and awareness for your tendencies, and then move into growth and still have active choice in anything that you're doing. It's not just like, well, it's my Enneagram type.
Can't do
Sorry.
anything about it.
Sorry.
Yeah.
So like you want to know yourself, if anything, to interrupt unconscious patterns, and you want to know what other people's conscious and unconscious patterns are, so that you're not like taking other human beings' behavior personally. And you're like, oh, right, like you do something differently than me and it's not wrong. Doesn't make my way better. It's like we can be stronger looking at this from different perspectives.
Oof. As a one, I disagree with that entirely.
That's not true though, because you know what it makes me think of?
What?
Team of rivals.
Yeah.
Like,
Yep.
So Abraham Lincoln's entire cabinet when he was president.
At the time, only 4 people.
Four
It was like
four whole cabinet
Secretary,
members.
it was like War, State.
There's nothing going on.
War, State. Treasury.
Foreign.
That'd be State.
That
So
would be
Secretary of
State,
State, Secretary of War, the Secretary of the Treasury.
Don't know.
Oh, no.
Good thing we have
It'll
magic
come to
boxes.
us. It'll come to us. Yeah.
Anyway, his cabinet was made up of a team of rivals. These were not a group. This was not a group of people who were like co-signing each other's bullshit and ideas and plans and things. It was like, oh, I don't actually really even necessarily like you all the time. We have opposing views, so let's like hash it out and come to the best plan.
Some people were like running against him in the previous in the election of 1860, lost, and then he's like, I want you on my team because opposing viewpoints, opposing like sides to solve problems and come to some sort of consensus, which is like genius if you can make it work.
Yeah.
Because otherwise it's like,
Takes
if you're
a lot
not
of grace.
right, and
Yeah.
it does a lot of grace and like leadership. Like if you're not a grounded enough leader, those people are just going to be fighting all the time and like nothing will get done. You have to like step into leadership, like you said, with grace. That's how you make that work, which is impressive too. 5?
There were 5.
Oh, jeepers.
Secretary of Treasury.
Yeah.
Salmon P. Chase.
Salmon P. Chase, who's on the $100,000 bill? $10,000 bill. He's on the $10,000 bill.
Secretary of State, Seward.
Seward.
Secretary of War, Simon Cameron. Attorney General, Edward Bates. And Secretary of the Navy,
Stanton.
Navy.
Gideon Wells.
Oh, okay.
Interesting.
Wow.
That makes sense.
Okay.
Just,
yeah.
Navy makes
just
sense
in
'cause
case
of-
anybody listening really
everybody
couldn't
got
let it
everything.
go.
Right.
Who was in Lincoln's cabinet and what they were doing.
Huh.
This is the case. Yeah.
Yeah.
But a total team of rivals. And that's like, that to me is, you don't want an entire team of 9s
No.
working on anything.
I think you don't want a team of anything.
No, you don't.
I'm thinking of a team of 1s, and
No.
it'd be a quiet group. It wouldn't. There'd be
Until
fights
it's
about.
not.
There'd be fights about how to organize things properly.
Uh-huh.
That's where the contention would be.
They would be ethical fights, though.
They would if they're all healthy,
If they're all in their healthy place.
which is another fantastic, interesting lens to view it. Because if we're starting up with 1, I go to like the Captain America, Superman, healthy ones, right? Very strong moral compass, very strong inner guidance. Going to do right. But then Thanos is also a 1. He was also equally motivated about his goal, an unhealthy one.
and
Yeah.
believed it.
And right. He
And
was
right.
like, I
Righteous.
believed I am
Yeah.
right, which is like, that always makes
It's
a
dangerous.
great villain
Yeah.
because they never think they're wrong. They always think they're right. So like, it's very compelling from that angle for me.
Yeah.
And
that is.
one's in the workplace.
It's right. You want to talk about work. I keep wanting to talk about movies and comic books.
I mean,
It all works together.
in regards to how we all work together here, the one is the one that communicates with precision and direct communication using logic. So like very Spock like. How do you like that? So
that feels
Nice.
equally
Yeah.
awesome.
throwing in another little
Perfect.
I love
pop
it.
culture for you.
I write messages on Slack like they cost $2.50 a word.
That's true. That is true. I send 1,000 messages before Matt
Precision.
sends it.
They communicate with precision. With precision.
That sounds about right. Yeah.
Yep.
Yes.
Love it.
Like you definitely are working within a word budget for sure.
I do.
at
I
work.
feel like it's a self-inflicted word budget. It's like I know how many words I have inside me to get through my day, professional and personal.
Yeah.
I like that. Yeah, you
I
run
can't-
out.
Yeah, I can't
Well, and
get
I
through
would
them
say
all.
it's tricky too because you're not just like like you're consuming words all day long.
It's true.
Because one of the things that you do here are all of our transcripts.
Right.
So the amount of word viewing and consuming that you do on a daily basis is so high.
It's true.
That like if we're looking at like the currency of that, it's like there's, even though it's happening internal, there's so much communication going on in your brain every day.
Yeah.
So to then be
It's
like
a mess up there.
So then to be like, Matt, we really want you to have like a 45-minute back and forth discussion in Slack about how we're doing something, right? Like you're just like, no.
Yeah, it's like I had a whole conversation with myself before Matt chimed in and was like, all right, I'll see you. I'll see you at that. I was like, I don't know if his Slack's working.
I mean, Josh, I have whole conversations with myself many times throughout the day in the house.
That's good.
Yep. I always have to reassure people of that. I'm like, I'm potentially the person he likes the most in the world. And sometimes I'm talking to myself. Sometimes I send him a text message and I'm still waiting for the text back 3 days later.
It was like you texted me on a Sunday night or Saturday night. And then I was like, why do I have a message Sunday morning? Who texted me? And it's from you. You're like, can you bring me some tea? I'm like, oh, I didn't respond. Because like it popped up on my phone. I could read it. So I'm like, I didn't need to open it. I was like, oh, let me just go get the thing you needed. And never went back to it. And I was like, there's a message here. Weird. Oh, yep. Didn't respond to that one promptly either.
No.
Well, and because I know you're one, I'm like, I'll talk to him soon. And like, like it's like, I'll talk to him soon. It's all good.
Well, that's what I mean by like, it so helps with like not taking things personally. Because it's not like, it's just like, this is how this person is wired. And we also can like bring it to the foreground and be like, no, you actually have to respond back. You have to respond to that message.
Man, I can't wait till we get to your numbers. I'm getting called out so
What
far.
is the one called?
The Reformer?
The Reformer, which is a tough title.
I know.
It is a tough title.
I think of like Martin Luther, and I don't want to be associated with that.
I think of like rulers.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking like a dictator type.
Yeah.
You know?
Very authoritarian type.
But reform can be great.
Right.
Reformers.
Yeah.
It sounds serious.
It does.
Sounds like reform school. That's why.
Right. Exactly.
It's like, dun, dun,
there's
dun.
something wrong.
Right.
And I'm going to point it out and fix it.
Right.
And try to fix it. And that can be seen as,
it could be
depending on the audience that could be abrasive.
Yeah.
My favorite thing about working with ones, working with you, working with anyone who's one is that there are these, like, it's a guarantee of ethics. It's a guarantee of integrity, responsibility, and honesty. And I can deal with my text messages sitting on red.
Yeah.
As long as there is integrity in the space and in the room. True. Like I really love integrity.
Yeah.
It's a great one.
You should.
It's a good
really
quality
good
to have.
Good quality. You
it's
know
like
what?
the best.
It's the best. Responsibility.
Top 3 for sure.
Ethics.
It's
really just appreciate it.
How that one comes up every now and then.
It does.
And you just got to cherish it when you see it.
Really do cherish
It's
it.
something to shoot for, It's like.
May we all have the integrity of a 1.
That's right.
So Enneagram 2 is the helper. Do we have any 2s? Sabrina.
Oh, is she a 2?
I think Sabrina's a 2.
She said she was a 4 to me the other day, I'm pretty sure.
She is not a 4.
I know.
Way to type people.
See, this is where we go to the thing.
Well, and it's funny because I think that I'm a 2.
Oh,
like I've had like, and it's just because now I'm a dad.
Right.
Where it's like I've come into a whole new type. Like where when it's so funny because then I take the test and they're 1 point off. Where it's like I'm a 4 and then I'm a 2 right below it.
Oh.
Which is really interesting because it's like every time there's certain things about a 4 that I'm like, I don't know. I do like to be creative. I am creative and like am performer and like on stage and stuff like that. But I haven't been on stage in years.
Right.
And
Like,
it doesn't like destroy me. Like it's like I'm like, I think that there's, I don't know. It's an interesting thing because I grew up in a house with a lot of people. So I became a helper. I always was a middle child. And so it's like natural for me to be, and I feel happy when I'm helping. I'm like being useful is a very big part of my value, like assessment of myself sometimes.
Yeah.
And so it's like an interesting thing because then so many people, if I told them that, they're like, "You're a 4." Like, you're a 4.
Well, I think this is fun because I have some notes on 2s and 4s.
Yeah, we can decide together.
And I'm just gonna read the.
There's 3 of us, so we're gonna have a vote.
Yes, let's do it.
We'll come to a conclusion.
I'm gonna read the 2 ones to
Okay.
you and see if at work
Mhm.
specifically these apply.
Okay.
All right. Quick to jump in and show compassion when someone needs it.
Oh, 100%.
100%.
Full 100%.
I'd say so.
100%. I mean, what do we always call Josh?
The hype man.
He's
Hype
the
man.
director of hype.
That's
Yeah,
right.
he's
I'm a
ambassador.
vibe guy.
He's ambassador of hype.
That's right.
Yeah.
They bring good vibes to
Oh
work,
my God.
That's what I'm saying.
creating a positive environment.
Shoot.
They value teamwork and collaboration to boost productivity.
Let's go.
Committed, diplomatic, and empathetic AF.
Woo! AF. Who wrote these? Are
Let's
these your
go.
notes?
I
Yes.
think
I was like, what book is that?
I
in?
love it.
They make things easier for others and frame instructions in a positive way.
Man.
Okay.
And they're supportive, understanding, and always looking to improve relationships.
That's pretty.
I think
That's spot on.
I can't disagree with any of those things.
Right?
I know.
I
You know,
Like
It's
none of those things would I be like, that doesn't sound like
Yeah,
I
Josh.
there
think
wasn't
so.
one
Yeah.
thing that was
Yeah.
like, maybe not. Nope.
Right.
Those are all
and
full
those
hundo.
are things that I definitely don't try to do.
Mm.
Like
Right.
that's the thing.
Oh,
It's
we
like,
know.
Like I am not trying. You know, it's like that is just.
We'll put into Slack. I love that Slack is like taking center
It's
stage.
our home base. You know,
It
for
really
an
is, I
online
mean.
company, it is like our main
It's true.
channel.
So just for everybody listening, if you don't know what Slack is, because I feel like we're one of those like
It's gonna-
caricatures of like bro speak.
Oh, we are.
You
It
know,
is.
like
On the Slack channel?
oh,
Yeah,
Slack
on the
me
Slack
on the
channel. Just
Slack
send
me
a
on the
Slack.
Slack.
Yeah.
Just silly dip me on Slack. Yeah, all these other.
Send me a PM.
Hit
We
me
can
up.
huddle on there.
Hit me up. We'll huddle.
Circle back in the huddle.
We'll circle back with the huddle later. It's like bro tech speak, right?
It is.
So it's basically a platform that has all these channels on it that you can designate for different
I mean, it's glorified
tasks,
instant
different-
messenger.
It is.
Right.
AOL, right?
and you can go into each channel and that's where you can chat with each other and text back and forth around like a project you're working on or something that's coming up. And like, you know, we have 9 bajillion Slack channels.
We do.
Every time I want to get rid of one, I'm like, should I? I
Do
don't know.
not.
Whenever I get a message, I'm like clicking through everyone. I'm like, wait a second. Because I look at it and
Right,
then I forget.
and then it disappears.
Yes, and then I don't know which one. I'm like, all
So
right.
annoying.
But anyways.
Like you can't look at Slack on your phone and then go on your computer and find that message again. So
No.
it's almost like don't look at it on your phone.
Exactly.
But you know, it's like whenever anybody posts anything in Slack that's like, I just finished this thing, or it's in the drive, or we just got 108 registrations, or whatever it is. Josh is like the first one that's like fire emoji, heart emoji.
Let's go.
Let's
I like
go.
wins, man. I'm a big celebrator.
Let's go.
Let's go. Yes.
Yeah, Slack is definitely the black box of our work personalities.
It is.
Just gotta
Yes.
shift through
I don't
the
know if I've
rubble.
ever sent a message without an exclamation point.
I know.
Like I think that there's just it's like I'm screaming at everyone all the time.
When I get home, I think either today or tomorrow, I'm gonna just try to search Josh and see all the messages. I bet you have not posted a message without a fire emoji.
It's my thing for sure. I think it's it's easy.
That's
To
great.
me, I think about it as like we don't get to be in the office.
Yeah.
And I think that like being around people, one of my favorite things, because work is work, right? It's like there's people bring different things to the table, and my dad has always been like a positive attitude guy, which is like most of the time very helpful, and sometimes a little bit, you know, washing over everything that is true. But every team needs a guy like that.
Oh,
You know, you need
Yeah.
somebody who's just like, we
Absolutely.
can do it. This is great.
Right.
And getting excited about little things like custom emojis.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
And like, you know, those little things matter.
Oh, yeah.
To
Oh,
me.
Josh
Right.
was the first one to have an emoji of himself
Oh yeah.
in Slack.
That was awesome.
I have one too
You
because
have
he
one
made it
too
for me because
now.
I was like, literally, what?
Yours has sound now. Josh, the first.
It does?
Well,
no,
wait,
it
the
doesn't.
one-
that was just a
That was just a gift.
Oh, just a little
That was
gift.
just a
Okay.
gift.
Just a gift.
Oh, that's right. You have an. That's right.
an emoji.
Yes. Well, I thought those are the little things that I sometimes am like, I don't know if anyone else finds this funny.
Oh.
but
Oh,
to
we do.
me, the little me showing up,
It's just a Josh
it
emoji.
just cracks me up because what does it mean?
Like
don't
Josh
know.
has
What does it
approved
mean?
this message.
So if is it in Slack? Can I use it?
Yeah, anybody
okay.
can use
Oh,
it.
everyone can use it.
Yes.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
the best part.
So now instead of my emoji for like is usually the horns.
Yep.
Uh-huh.
I usually do the horns.
I can
but-
make you a custom one, Matt.
Yeah.
Just send me anything you want. I
Oh,
can
we're
make
gonna
you.
we're
a
gonna
custom
brainstorm on this
one.
today.
Okay.
I'm so excited.
I like
right
it.
now.
So yes, it's definitely it comes naturally to me, and I really love. I think it's one of the easiest things you can do, like as part of a company, is like just be the positive
Right.
guy, because there's enough to be stressed about, and I think that a good energy goes a long way.
It
And
really
like,
does.
No, it really does.
If you have a group of people who are spread out pretty thoroughly throughout the Enneagram, not everyone's going to default to that.
Yeah.
So like, even more important that it shows
Totally.
up.
It is.
I love it.
It's
So
fun.
read about the 4s. Do you want to read about the
so we're gonna
4s?
skip over 3.
Oh, I don't know. You said you had 3
Do
and
we
4.
have a 3?
Yeah. Do we have a 3?
We don't have a 3 on
What
the
is
team.
3?
I can
The
never
3
remember 3.
The 3 is the achiever.
Achiever.
Oh, I remember.
So the 3 is like success, be the best, interpersonal relationships. They have like maybe unreasonable confidence at times. Like there's that. Their attitude is always that they can do it, and they want recognition for that.
So I
So-
think a 3 is Boromir from Lord of the Rings.
Yes.
very good.
Yep.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's a great one.
Like
Yeah.
under extreme pressure from his father, wants
Poor
to
Boromir,
succeed.
man.
Yeah, I know. Like he was not set up for success.
No, he was cursed.
He was. I mean, given his
Poor
personality,
Boromir.
and that he was the oldest, and under pressure from his father, that was not a combination for success.
No,
No.
not in this situation.
No,
That's for sure.
not with the One Ring.
no, not with one ring.
No.
He was set up for failure. That's for sure.
Yeah, I don't think that we have any Enneagram 3s.
No.
I mean, maybe in the bigger,
Expanse of the teachers.
yeah, like the yoga teachers, we might have some 3s there, but not in the immediate team. No,
No,
we
not
don't.
on the.
I've
I mean,
definitely.
there's only 6 of us, so
right.
can't cover them all.
I've worked with a lot of 3s, like in sales.
Oh, I bet.
Like
Okay,
it's,
probably-
Oh, totally.
it is
Yeah.
like pretty much all 3s. I feel
Yeah.
like when I think about it, because it's like this, and it's
Right.
it's a tough number.
yeah.
It's like it's a good number for hard situations, because they're like kind of almost like a 2 push through. Like they're just like, all right, we're doing it. Like
Right.
we're gonna do it. We have to do it.
Right.
Whatever. But the unbridled confidence is like almost impossible to
Right.
collaborate with.
Yeah.
Well,
You
and
know,
the
like, it's a tough-
trickiness of like just because you can doesn't mean you should
Right.
do something,
Yes.
right? Like
Now-
that's a litmus test for
Right.
3s.
We haven't really talked. We mentioned, I think earlier, like if they're in growth or stress.
Mm-hmm.
And if you look at the diagram, there'll be one line. Like there'll be your number, whatever number you are, will be connected to 2 other numbers.
Mm-hmm.
One is what you kind of do if you're in growth and growing. One is what you kind of do when you're in stress. What is the 3's growth?
6.
Really?
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
The 9's growth is 3.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Huh.
Interesting.
So we don't have a 3 on the team, but we have 2 9s on the team.
Right.
Do.
Better get their shit together because
They're both in growth. They're achievers.
Man, you know what?
I
Yeah.
have to say,
that's
for
true.
9s,
Yeah.
I think that both. Sometimes
We are.
Sometimes I'm like, Francine, you're a 4. I'm like, you're a 4. You're getting out there. Like you're not like.
Originally, she thought she was a 4.
Yeah, I think that there's but she's just in growth. She's getting away
Yep.
from. She believes. She's
Yeah.
in the right space for in her role here. I think is just
Right. And
right
it's
where she
like
needs to be.
it's like that's the thing is 9s when we're not there yet, but 9s can tend to like avoid and hide if they're overwhelmed. And so we don't often get to see 9s in like their 3 growth. And when they're in their 3 growth, like they tend to be in the positive attributes of a 3, not the shadow aspects of a 3.
Mhm.
Because that's what growth is. You know?
Right.
All right.
So,
Okay.
mm-hmm.
So hit.
Okay.
We
So
have-
Enneagram 4
Okay.
at work.
Okay.
4s are the individualist. So we're going to see if any of these sound like Josh.
Okay.
Okay. They bring a unique blend of creativity and emotional intelligence to the workplace.
Oh, jeez.
Okay.
That's 2.
Check.
That's a twosies right there.
Mhm.
That one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm. They're truthful and skilled at surfacing important interpersonal issues.
I'm not afraid of doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Does that come as easy as the things in the 2 spot?
Kind of. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
call. I'm big on that type of conflict.
All right.
At least I'm comfortable within it.
Right.
So for 4s, it's all about emotion, right? So 4s are insightful about relationships, and they use their emotional intuition and empathy to guide all actions. Josh, what was that?
There's that discomfort we love to see.
Well, it's like
Ooh.
sort of. It's like, yeah, I guess sort of. Yes, that's true. That is true.
Okay. They are constantly craving deeper connections.
I would say that is a no.
Okay.
I don't think so.
They steer clear of small talk and want to only do authentic sharing.
Nope. I don't stay. I think we can all.
Josh, you want to hold hands and eye gaze for 40 minutes before we do the podcast?
I don't remember when I first heard the term and knew what that was, but you definitely told me, and I I had a short circuit. Like my brain couldn't handle that exists in the world, and somewhere, someday, someone might ask me to do that.
Well,
like
that's
my butt was pre-puckered at the idea. I was just
Matt,
like,
we're doing it one day, me and you. We're gonna have to do it on a retreat.
It's gonna be a staff
someday.
retreat.
Yes, exactly.
Or maybe at the yoga festival.
Yes, let's
Well,
do
let's
it.
get you guys. We're just gonna pose it and take some photos,
Let's do
and
it.
everyone is. It's gonna blow up. It's gonna
We'll
go
do
viral.
a video on TikTok.
Yeah, it will
do it.
so go viral.
Just me and Matt.
Just you and Matt gazing into each other's eyes.
You remember the story you told earlier about your brother in church?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm feeling that's the way
That's
it
what would
might
happen.
go.
You two would start then it would turn into laughter yoga.
It would be immediately.
And I will
laughter,
be
for
like,
sure.
my husband is doing eye gazing and laughter yoga in
That's right.
one
Victory.
afternoon
Victory.
at a yoga festival.
If you told my mother that story, she'd like, I don't
What
believe
happened to him?
any of what
No,
you
she
said.
would be like, I don't know what you're talking about. I know the words you're saying, but I don't know
I don't
what
get it.
what you mean. Fours want to have profound significance of things and express their own unique perspective, and they have to have personal meaning in the work that they're doing.
Definitely yes to the ending. And yeah, I guess yes to that too.
Okay. Yep. All of your work is infused with emotion and depth.
I don't know. It's as much as I can.
Do you feel an emotional connection to?
To making replays.
Yeah.
That's the tough part.
Like,
Is I don't think that can't and I'm totally good with it. That's
Right.
what I mean. Like it doesn't bother me at all to make
see,
replays.
that's the part that feels less
Off.
congruent
Yes.
about you being a four, is that fours aren't good at chop wood, carry water.
100%.
They're not good at it.
Exactly.
Like, they
Oh.
want this to be like a deep, spiritual, emotional, mission-driven thing that they're doing. And maybe in a like growth aspect, if you were sitting down and like really being honest with yourself and you were like, okay, but I feel so connected to the mission that the tedious work that I have to do, which we all have to do tedious work, is worth it, and I feel connected to the mission. But most
wouldn't be able to
do that.
Well, and that's the thing about a four is the fours I know I could never see doing the work I do.
Right.
Like I could
Right.
never see
Yeah.
someone who's so, because the thing about a four that I think is misrepresentative for me personally is like, because I'm a performer, people think I want to be seen as like an individual who wants to be seen.
Right.
And like, I honestly, that doesn't matter to me literally at all. Like I don't need to be seen. It's
Right.
like, I'm not looking for glory.
Right.
It's
You're
like
doing it
that-
for the art. Or
that-
Right.
Yeah, I
whatever,
love the creative aspect, but it's more spiritual to me than anything else. And so I do definitely, when you said, I don't have a problem doing that because of the mission for sure.
Right.
But that I would do anything though for the mission.
But I
You
think
know?
it's interesting because, like, I mean, so I'm your boss,
Yeah.
and I'll have many moments where I'm like, where's Josh making music? Like, Josh needs to, like, we need
More of that.
we need more of this. We need, like, where is Josh being creative? So part of the whole thing about looking through the Enneagram through the lens of work, besides the fact that we all work together, is what we're doing, is that if we're actually going to use the Enneagram as like a tool in interpersonal relationships, you have to think about this as a supervisor, as a boss, as someone who's like giving people tasks. You can't just be like, we care about these systems so much, and then like not walk the walk.
Totally.
Right? So it's like, I know Josh to be this. I know him to be a very creative person. You're very creative. You make beautiful music. And it's like, we can't just give Josh editing work to do. we need him to do other things.
Yes.
Like, when are you teaching?
Right.
This is why this conversation. I'm like, Josh, when are you teaching yoga? When are you teaching yoga?
That is the best part about having a company that understands that and cares.
Yeah.
Like, think about the
Right.
lack of consideration in, I would say, 95% of workplaces in America, maybe more.
Yeah.
Right.
It's like the fact that and I think about that all the time. It's like that kind of consideration makes for a kinder workplace. It makes for a longer career at a particular place.
It's so much more nourishing and
my
important.
God.
Like, I remember being a teacher, wanting to bring so much creativity to this, and after a while, it's just like, meh. Like, because
you're
the
discouraged.
system doesn't reward or
Support
support
it,
that.
yes.
Like, it just, and I'm not really blaming individuals, but like the system doesn't. Like, it just doesn't, and it's really hard to. After a while, you're just like,
What's the point?
you're doing the job that's the job, and that's not the drive of it right away.
Totally.
Jess from New Girl, Jay Gatsby, are 4s
Uh-huh.
for
Makes
fictional
sense.
characters.
Yep. That makes sense. Yeah.
So that's so now I think we're still kind of in the middle.
We're still in the middle.
I think, but I do think 2 feels, I think the things that matter to me, it's like when those things did make me feel uncomfortable, though. I do have to say, thinking about myself that way.
If I had to pick one, I'd say 2, because like that also it drives the behavior.
Yes,
Right. So it's like,
yes.
if I had to pick one, I'd go with 2.
Well, and I think I have to do the work.
But the thing
That's
is
the idea.
like 2s and 4s are related.
They are.
Right.
So when a 2 is in growth, it goes to 4.
Oh.
So
Well,
here's
shoot.
the other thing to think about, right? Like, so, and then when a 4 is in stress, it goes to 2.
Full trust me. I've been thinking.
However, I never feel so often when 4s in stress go to 2 and go to helper, they don't go to helper in an altruistic way. They go to helper from a place of resentment and bitterness.
Right.
I've never seen you bitter or resentful.
No, that's
So,
not my way.
Yeah.
Like, if I had to choose, I would say that you're probably in your growth 4, in your creative aspects, but that your default is 2, just because you don't. And where does a 2 go in stress? Does anybody remember?
8.
8.
Must be 8.
Yeah. Do you try to like take charge of things when you're all stressed out?
Oh yeah.
You're like,
I'm just gonna do
you're
it.
like, this is chaos
Yes,
taking over. There's this bullshit chaos going on.
That is totally. I go there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something to think about.
Oh, it's interesting.
Amazing.
Not that I'm typing you.
No, I like it. We're figuring it out. We're figuring it out right here for all
The
the
title
people
of this
to see.
episode is "I'm not typing you."
I like that.
I'm not typing you.
That's
We
awesome.
don't have an Enneagram 5 on the
What is a 5 again?
team.
The investigator.
The investigator.
That's like the Sherlock Holmes is a 5.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know if I know any 5s.
They're researchers, very independent, lots of autonomy,
Scientists.
like voracious
Yeah.
learners.
Okay.
Yeah. Bruce Banner,
Maybe.
I think, is a 5. The Hulk.
Maybe.
That would make sense.
Yeah.
You know, they can be very sensitive, actually. So they Bruce Banner. So they tend to
Very
like
sensitive, yeah.
isolate because that's easier than like having to deal with
Interesting.
like other people. But
Hannibal Lecter.
Okay.
is a 5.
Yeah.
Okay.
Probably a unhealthy 5.
Oh, I would think so.
I would say so.
I mean, you know,
There's something going wrong there.
there's some unhealthy clues. Yeah. They can be very detached emotionally.
5s.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Very emotionally detached.
Because
Okay.
they're so busy being the investigator.
Because it's like all about analytics.
Okay.
So it's like
Too
if it's
logical.
not measurable and quantifiable in that way,
Interesting.
like
They struggle.
Yeah.
like qualitative is going to be like meh.
Ah.
Right.
Whereas
right.
like actually like measurable things, you're
Crunching
like,
the numbers.
okay, I can get down with that.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. We don't have any 5s on the team.
No, we do not. No 5s. Enneagram 6, which we don't have any 6s on the team either. This Enneagram 6 is called the Loyalist, which is interesting. Basically, the priority of 6 is safety and security. I would say like an ideal 6 in the workplace is going to be in some kind of like risk loss prevention, HR, that kind of role
Yeah.
would be taken up by someone who falls into the category of 6. Like they can prepare for potential problems, and not only like a healthy 6 is going to do it in a way that's like empowering and feels like a good plan. An unhealthy 6 is going to be all like a nervous Nelly about things and like obsessing.
I was thinking Bilbo Baggins, the beginning of The Hobbit. Is it like unhealthy, quote unquote? Because like he's very content where he is. Even when he gets the call to adventure, he's like, I don't want to go. I am a hobbit of Bag End. I'm not leaving. Like that's like, you know what I mean? Like he doesn't want to adventure out.
Yeah.
Is that
Potentially. I mean, yeah, there can be kind of home bodies and like stability and you know,
Yeah.
predictability.
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, a healthy 6 is going to be able to field any kind of shenanigans and curveballs and things like that. And they do try to be fair. Like they try to be fair. But I think Bilbo is tricky because like he could be more of like a 5 with a 6 wing.
Okay.
You know, he's like a writer
Yeah.
and kind of reclusive.
Yeah. I mean,
6s aren't necessarily reclusive.
okay.
Yeah.
I just keep thinking of Elijah Wood.
This
instead of the
instead of-
character, I like keep thinking like Green Street Hooligans. It's not the same. Not the same guy. Not the same guy. Right?
Oh, the same guy. Yeah. And we don't have 7s either, but Jessica has a very strong 7 wing.
right.
I
go to 7 in growth.
You do.
So what I'm right. That's why like
What's
when-
a 7 called? Wait, 7 is the loyalist?
Enthusiast.
Oh, enthusiast.
Right. That's like Thor. I think Thor from
Yeah.
the Marvel comics is like a
Sweet.
right. He seems like a 7.
Mm-hmm.
But like when we're talking about Wi-Fi fun, I'm like D&D. Who wants characters? I got this.
Yeah.
We're gonna play a one shot. It's gonna be so much. You never played? You're gonna play. It's gonna be awesome.
Yeah,
So, like,
that's when
totally-
you go to your growth.
yeah,
totally.
I do like.
Mm-hmm.
This is where my love of like themed parties and hangouts like that's. So I'm like,
Shows up.
get into that. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, their 7s are all about adventure and like dream. They're dreamers. They're totally dreamers. So, you know, when you're working with a 7, you have to know that like there's someone on the team that's gonna then like take that plan forward. They're enthusiastic and passionate. They also are only interested in good vibes. So like it's really hard for 7s to deal with anything that isn't fun.
Yeah.
So if there's like stress or overwhelm, they can like check out.
Right. And which makes me think I think I would watch the video. Shout out to Josh Keefe, whose video I will link in the show notes. He's a guy that makes videos on Enneagram.
Cool.
He has a couple, like an overall video, like of the 9 types and like the types, the wings, the heart center, the mind center, like all that stuff. And then he's got 2 or 3 that are like 15, 20 minutes long on specific types. Like he does the 1 on the 1, the 2,
Cool.
and the 3. I
Yeah.
don't think he's gotten all the way through, but they're very good.
Sweet.
Definitely worth checking out. Also brings up like
he's also a 1.
who is he?
Mm-hmm.
I think that's right. There's one. But he talked
sense.
about either like I don't want to use the word the sin or like when a 7 like maybe
The vice.
shadow vice
Yeah,
might be
the
it.
vice.
And I think for the vice for the 7 is gluttony.
Oh yeah.
Like when they check out, they overindulge.
They'll overindulge.
Which,
They're
like, I
prone
go
to
to Thor,
addiction.
which, like,
yep.
If we think of Endgame,
Yeah,
when
or-
he
that's
failed in
right.
his mission, what happened? He totally indulged and
Yeah.
Yep.
overindulged.
Yep. Yeah. So they can always engage in excitement, and then they won't acknowledge like any kind of negative
Real
data
Mhm.
experience. Like it's like, oh, you know, this thing isn't working that we were doing. They just will like not hear that.
Right.
You know, like it completely spiritually bypass it.
I'm sorry.
No,
I'm going back to Endgame when they go back in time. Spoiler alert. They go back in time and Thor goes to Asgard to get one of the stones and he meets his mother. And
Yep.
his mother's like, "You don't look well.
Uh-huh.
The future hasn't been nice to you." He's like, "What? What are you talking about? Not from the future." She's like, really? It's like, "I'm totally from the future. I'm so sorry." But the same kind of way, it just made me think of like he totally is like trying in denial, checking
Yep.
out
Yeah.
until like he's called on it, and then
Right.
like, he'll like
Sort of engage.
sort of engage. Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
7 sound fun and tough to work with.
Yeah.
Like
Where
a
does
tough,
a 7 go
Yep.
in stress?
5.
Oh, okay.
Yep. So they'll like full withdrawal.
Ooh.
completely.
Oh, okay. I mean,
Yep.
if we're thinking, then I think of like Sherlock Holmes when
Yep.
he's like
Mhm.
reclusive.
Yep.
He's in his place.
Yep.
He's done 221B Baker Street for weeks at a time because
Yeah.
he doesn't have anything to stimulate him mentally, and he's just shut in.
I did one event with a 7 co-host, and I will never do that again.
Oh wow.
I just won't.
Yeah.
It was too much. Like maybe if there had been someone who was really a 3 that wanted to like take charge and like, or a 1 was there like to be like, this is what we're doing. But it just took so much effort from me to consistently redirect this person
Bring
back to
back
the
in.
task at hand. That I was
Yes.
like, okay, I'm tired. Not doing this again.
It's like the golden retriever number.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is.
Okay.
Absolutely. Like you want to bring them on a vacation with you.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't think that you want to like execute a
Solve a
major
problem.
event with
Right.
many participants or
Yeah.
things like that without a solid support team around. Like they can be the the ambassador of joy that just like walks around and does jumping jacks and gets excited for everybody, but
Yeah.
not follow through with
Got it.
anything that's a solid time frame.
Interesting.
Yeah. We do have an Enneagram 8.
We do.
Jess is the Enneagram 8 here. 8s are the leader. 8s are called a couple of things depending on what you're looking them, more like where you're looking it up. But I like leader.
This random website. I should mention the source is purely to associate the type with a fictional character. So
right.
maybe not
Yes.
the most
Okay.
Enneagrammy of the Enneagram sites,
Uh-huh.
but it's calling 8 the challenger.
Yeah, I don't love that. I just don't think that is
Accurately.
true in the sense of like what we hear when we hear the word challenger. Like
Right.
they're leaders.
I was gonna say, like, I feel like the captain.
Yeah,
right?
like they're leaders. They take charge. They also take responsibility, which is a huge thing. Like I actually love 8s so much. They might be one of my favorite Enneagram types because they feel very safe to me. And that's the whole like mission of the 8 is they take charge and they take responsibility and they get things done from a place of they want to make sure that everyone is taken care of and safe.
Yep.
It comes from, it doesn't come
It's
from
like
the 3
altruistic.
place of like, I want to be the best.
Yes.
Right.
It doesn't come from that. It comes from like, I need to make sure that everyone is going to be taken care of and safe in the situation. And so that's how I they're very assertive. They can be very decisive and independent in their thinking. And they're like unshakable when they've made a decision about things. So I can see where like that could be a challenge for some people. They have relentless levels of drive and motivation. And they also can be pretty sharp with their words. So like there's no like, we're not going to pause.
Thinking of all the 8s I know.
We're not going to
Yep.
pause
God
and be
bless
like,
'em.
how is this going to be received
Yeah.
necessarily? Like they
Right.
cut right through the nonsense. They're like, stop doing what you're doing. Just stop it. And that's it. Like there's no like, so I think that this is how you're feeling in this moment and it would be better. No, there's no fluffy language around those kind of things. It's,
I love
it's
that so
very
much.
clear.
So this has Magneto as an 8,
Oh, okay.
which I could see.
I don't know a whole lot about Magneto.
Well, like he from the X-Men,
Yeah.
no.
I know about him, but I don't know anything about. I just know his
his major like
his power.
Isn't Black
and-
Widow
yeah.
an 8?
I think so, maybe.
Princess Leia's an 8.
Yep.
Oh.
No, I can see that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Right. Because she does not give a crap.
No, she's just like, knock your shit off.
Yeah.
We got so much work to do.
Right.
and I don't
8s
have
on the
time
other
for
hand
your-
are very valuable things
so
to have. in a
Oh, yeah.
business.
valuable in a
You know.
business in particular.
If you had to pick 2 numbers,
yeah.
8
one
would
of them
be
would
in it,
be
for
in
sure.
there.
Yep. Yep. If you need to like, if you're like, I want to start a business from nothing, you want to find an 8 to do that
Well,
with.
I'm thinking Magneto, I would say unhealthy because like he wants, like he's going about, he's the bad guy and he wants to protect mutants from humans
That's
that want
right.
to kill them.
Yes,
Okay.
that's
But
his
he's
motivation.
like but he wants
he's
to
an
like
organizer. He's a leader.
right.
Yeah.
But like it's very like he wants to subdue humans
Yes.
because he doesn't trust humans and he wants to protect the mutants, right? As opposed to Charles Xavier, who also wants to protect mutants, is going about it in a totally different
Right.
way. What do you think about Javert from Les Mis? Is he an 8 or an unhealthy 1?
Whew. I think he's an unhealthy one
Yeah.
because it's all about like the law,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
Like there's no wavering from it. You cannot steal even if you're starving
Yeah.
because this is the law.
Right. This site has him at an 8, but I was thinking it
I don't
sounds
think
more like
so.
an unhealthy 1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if not that I'm typing.
If you were typing, though, that was a very astute type.
You did a hell of a job.
Yeah,
That's great.
both you
Hell of a
guys
job.
really nailed it, Matt.
Hell of a
Nailed it
job.
with the unhealthy 1 thing. I mean, that was
Hell of a
spot
job.
on.
And then last but not least,
Bringing it home.
Our
we
most
have-
important number here. At
we have
Yellow
Enneagram
Farm.
9. Enneagram 9, Francine and I,
Yep.
unless she feels that that's up for debate.
No, she's a 9.
Did Francine, what did she think she was? 4?
I said she's a 4.
Okay.
I joke with her that she's a 4.
At one point, she thought she was a 4. Like
Yeah.
when we first started working together, like when
And
she
she
was
is-
in training, she was like, I think I'm a 4. And I'm like, I think that what can happen to 9s is they want harmony so bad that they will become like the person that they're spending the most amount of time with. So,
Yes, that's definitely. I absolutely see that as what has happened.
Right.
For sure.
so it's like, is this trait, like, are these traits that you have actually you? And at the time that she thought she was a 4, I don't think that she was really knowing
Where
who she was.
at. Yes, definitely.
like she had forgotten that part of herself a lot. So, but let's go through the list and see if these things land in Francine land. Warm and welcoming personality.
Check.
Pay close attention to their colleagues and will intervene when necessary.
Check.
They remain calm and diplomatic when stressed.
Harmony of doubt.
Harmony of doubt.
We'll say maybe on that one.
9s view things from all different perspectives and look for a compromise.
Yeah.
They seek out opportunities to collaborate with others and bring people together. They like to be with people.
Yeah, no,
Okay.
that doesn't scream Francine
Yep.
to me right now.
Masters of harmony and bringing people together. That's redundant. Natural listeners who value everyone's input and make sure everyone feels heard and supported.
Check.
They are unselfish leaders who don't need to dominate or manipulate. They just want to help and make things work.
Check.
9s are in tune with their surroundings and excel at connecting with people and understanding the context of a situation. So not what's playing out, like the context.
background.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
I say yeah. I mean that does fit, and I think that because of the last few years, the being around other people was the part that I was like that she's driving to be around people. I think that she experiences people online so much.
yeah.
And like is interacting with people consistently.
Yep.
You know, but she also has, a social, like there's a social tiredness that comes with it. That it's
Totally.
like I'm actually okay being here, and we have enough things going on in our little at-home office to keep her busy. And so that was the only thing that I was like,
Well, and that's that's very 9ish.
It is.
You
That is
know, it's
actually
like
9-ish.
when 9s, when their plate is full, they will withdraw. Like I'll joke that like if I get to the point where I'm overwhelmed, I've got too many things going on, too much peopling, too much communication, that people start getting one-word answers from me. So like, whereas Matt doesn't respond in Slack, I'll just go, "Yep,
Okay.
okay,
I've gotten those before.
sure."
Yeah, I know.
Sure.
I know what that means.
Yeah, it's just like I'm
Yeah.
like I don't even have it in me to
Yeah.
have a full sentence right now. Like I acknowledge you
Yes.
and I hear what you're saying,
Mm-hmm.
and that's as far as I can go
Yeah.
because I've run out of words. I've run out of like 9s do tend to refill their battery like internally on their own doing like this is why like there's a huge difference with when I'm doing a physical practice every day or not, when I'm able to get outside every day or not. Like those things keep the battery full. And then when the battery's full, then it's like, yeah, let's get together and collaborate about things.
Definitely, that's true. That's
Right?
for sure.
But if the battery isn't full,
Yeah.
the idea of holding space, because that's where we go in default, is holding space for everybody's opinions, thoughts, feelings, energy around something. I'm like, no.
yeah, no thanks.
I'm not going to put myself in that position
Yes,
because I
that's what it
don't
is.
have the bandwidth for
Yes,
it. You know?
that is what it is. So yeah, that is 9-ish.
Yeah.
Nice.
I love 9s. I really have to say.
I mean, we're the peacemaker.
Oh, we
Who's
need
not
it.
freaking loving
Gotta
nines?
love a
Yeah,
nine.
it's hard to not like a peacemaker.
It's hard.
It really is.
Winnie the Pooh.
Winnie the Pooh.
Winnie the Pooh.
That's a fun fictional universe to see the Enneagram through.
Yeah.
It is. Very good.
Because I think what's one? I think Rabbit's a 1.
Rabbit's a 1.
I really wish it was Owl, but he's a 5.
He's a 5.
Yeah, that's a drag.
Yeah.
I love
What
Winnie
is
the Pooh.
what is
Yeah.
2? What is 2?
The Helper?
No, I mean,
Piglet?
Piglet's got to be a 6.
Well, it's not Eeyore.
No, that's a 4.
Kanga?
What's Christopher Robin?
Oh yeah.
He's a kind of a helper.
What is Christopher Robin? That's a really good
He's
point.
also the star of the show, though.
Yeah.
So it's kind of hard to be a lead character and be the helper.
Kanga is the 2.
Kanga is the 2.
Oh, I forgot about King.
I know.
Gopher is the 3.
Eeyore's the
Eeyore's
4.
the 4. Owl's the 5. Piglet's the 6. Tigger's the 7.
Yeah.
The Heffalump is the 8.
Heffalump. I don't know that one.
What?
Know who that is?
That must be the new
Okay. Well,
books.
you better brush up.
I know,
It's
right?
in the
I must
reboot.
have missed that in the new edition.
You better brush up. And because because you asked.
Yeah, Christopher Robin. Yeah.
Christopher Robin and Winnie the Pooh are the same thing. It's like Krishna and Arjuna.
Oh wow.
That's true.
So
Oof, that was good. Stunned silence is all I got with that one. That was awesome.
yeah. So Christopher Robin. I mean, maybe you could argue that like Christopher Robin is a 9-wing 8, and
Okay.
and Pooh is a 9-wing 1,
Mm-hmm.
but they are the same. Like Winnie the Pooh is Christopher Robin's extension of himself.
Got it.
Right.
They are
Oh,
the
that's
same.
right.
Yeah.
Yes. Duh.
Come on. I mean, when was the last time you read the Tao of
I
Pooh?
forgot.
I
Yeah,
know.
damn it.
Jeez.
It's all make believe.
Winnie the Pooh and Christopher
They're
Robin
the stat, right?
Wow.
are Krishna and Arjuna.
Man, the Bhagavad Gita
the
through
same-
Winnie the Pooh.
That's actually really cool.
I think a
Really?
lot of people would read the Gita if it was through the lens of Winnie the Pooh.
I would
and, like,
not hear Pooh's voice.
I was
know.
just thinking they should
Right.
do it in Pooh's voice.
Right?
They should do a version of.
I want somebody to do like a meditation album that's in Winnie the Pooh's voice,
Yeah.
like guided meditations with Winnie the Pooh's voice, because it's so soothing to me.
Right.
It's like,
It's an incredible voice.
and
oh
there,
yeah.
it
It's just
is.
like
original-
it's immediate comfort.
Oh,
Yeah.
Right.
yeah.
Oh,
It's like a blanket.
right.
Yeah.
It's so good. Oh my God. Speaking of that, I in my TikTok feed found a meditation. It's a voice actor as Obi-Wan Kenobi. It's like he sounds like a Ewan McGregor. Like
Okay,
he sounds
yeah,
young,
yeah.
and it's like 10 minutes long. And he's like does a guided meditation. It's like we're gonna
Talks about the forest.
Yes, the
that's
forest. Everyone get a seated
awesome.
position. We're in the temple, and it's
You
like
got to put it in the link.
I should. It's
it in the comments.
fantastic. I like geeked out so hard. I'm like, this is literally.
This is what I'm looking for.
Oh my God, it was. Oh, so good.
And there is a YouTube video by Dr. Tom LaHue. He does this like 20 minute. It's got to be around 20 minutes. YouTube video that's all about type 9 and the 100-acre wood.
Oh, yeah.
And for a long time, like I was on the fence. Like I was like, I don't want to be the peacemaker. I don't. This sounds awful. It sounds like the Enneagram doormat. Like I don't want to be this. And I was very, very resistant. And then I found this video and I was like, well, never felt so exposed in my entire life.
Yeah, you've seen me too clearly.
9s and the 100-acre wood, I think it's called.
It'll be in the show notes.
There we go.
nice.
Put a link in it.
All right.
Yeah, man. No need for final thoughts. I think you guys
We got it.
nailed it. I
Enneagram's
mean,
fun.
it is fun, and I keep. Well, I mean, the whole time I'm going back to fictional characters, but I think the main purpose, honey, you wanted to bring up Enneagrams in the workplace and how they
Yeah.
work well together, bounce off each other, and having a diverse array of numbers
Yeah.
can only be helpful, really, as long as people kind of lean in, acknowledge, support you know,
like any system, you know, like how many professional development workshops has any of us had to go through? It's like, oh, we're going to figure out if you're a north, south, east, or a west. We're going to do Myers-Briggs. We're going to do like so many personality types as like some professional development, team building.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then that's as far as it goes.
Right,
And it's
never
like,
talked about
thank
it
you for giving me this information around how I work the best and then not enabling me to do it that way at all.
Right.
That's really
Well,
awesome.
now you know
Right?
you are not doing your full potential. You're not there, and you never will be.
And we're not going to help you
Yeah.
figure that out
Yeah.
Not
because
here, at
this
least.
is your job.
Right.
Exactly.
here's how to reach your potential, but take that shit outside.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Do that at home.
And now we're going to use this against you.
Right. Now we know your weaknesses.
Yes, exactly.
It'll be on your annual review.
Oh, you're a 3, you say.
A 3 would have done this.
We're about to make everything a contest.
That's right.
Well, thank you guys. I always love shooting about Enneagram.
You do.
Yeah.
I really do. Like
Yeah.
it's every time I think about it, read about it,
It's
there's
fun.
always a new lens to view it, and I think it's awesome and fun.
It is.
Yeah.
Yay.
Yay! So Wi-Fi Pod. This is Matt.
This is Josh.
This is Jeannie.
Thanks everyone.